Hey everybody, Angel Arts here, and I just wanted to do a short Let's Talk discussing some of the recent news that has been surrounding Telltale Games over the last week. Telltale, as many of you know, has vastly become one of my favorite video game companies, especially within the last couple of years. I have greatly come to appreciate their style and respect the company as a whole. And one of the more recent things that's been going on with them, if you have not heard about it yet, is that Lionsgate has partnered up with Telltale Games. Lionsgate, as many of you know, has been responsible for television shows like Weeds, and Orange is the New Black, Mad Men, and they also are responsible for movies such as The Hunger Games, American Psycho, and the list goes on and on. So anyway, the reason why that they were partnering up with each other is because they are helping Telltale out with its new original IP, which they are dubbing a super show. What exactly is a super show? In a nutshell, a super show, or the super show, is meant to be a hybrid video game slash television series. And that kind of makes sense because a lot of the games that Telltale has been doing recently, many of them, not all, and even before The Walking Dead. I mean, Walking Dead is a fine example. The Game of Thrones is a fine example. A lot of their games are based off of TV shows and movies, TV shows and movies. I guess it was natural for Telltale to try to push the envelope a little bit and work with Lionsgate to come up with a TV/video game entity. Especially with the way that they deliver their games. You know, they deliver the games in an episodic way, which is just like, just the way that a lot of TV series, virtually every single TV series, I guess that's why they call it a series, is that they provide you the full story in chunks, just like Telltale Games does. They specifically wanted to make sure that it was an actual hybrid, as in both of them, both the TV element and the video game element, are equally first-class citizens. It's not a TV show with a video game. It's not a video game with a TV show. It's both in equal measure. This reminds me of how Quantum Break, there was a video game that's released for the Xbox called Quantum Break, which I believe had pretty much the same idea, where you would play a game and based on some of the actions that you did or the choices that you made during the game, it would generate a live action. It would take the choices that you made and generate a live action episode, TV episode for you that you can then watch. And the characters, the actors, the live action actors who appear on the episode sometimes make cameo appearances within the game as well. And Telltale's and Lionsgate Super Show, I think, has a very similar formula, in that you are given this game TV show episodically, so you can either watch the episode first or play the interactive game first, and it matters what order you do it in. So if you decided to play the game first, then based on the choices that you made, that determined the way that the episode that you watch afterwards gets generated. And if you decided to watch the TV show first, then the video game, when you go play that second, the events of the video game, I think, would change. Like, it would not be exactly the same experience from if you had decided to play the game first. So it's interesting how that would work. And to me, I think it's a really creative idea. I think on paper, it sounds really cool and it sounds really neat, and it's one of those things that I really want to try it just to see what it's like, just to see how well they pull it off, how well they execute it. Um, I mean, as a fanboy, I'd like to be very optimistic. I mean, Telltale hasn't really failed me before. They were so good about having me play a game that's based off of a series that I'm not particularly interested in or was not really a fan of. Like, I was not really big on Game of Thrones at all. I didn't really play Borderlands at all for various reasons. But when I played their games, the Telltale game versions, I loved them. Absolutely loved them. And now that they're coming out with a Minecraft series, I'm not a big Minecraft fan either. It was just not a game that I was really into. I'm like immediately going to throw my money at that game because even though I wasn't a fan of the original source of of the game, uh, I'm going to play it because Telltale has been able to provide, uh, has been able to satisfy me through their games, even with source material that I wasn't a big fan of. So, I'm very optimistic. And it could very well be that it could very well be a flop. I mean, I'm not going to completely be ignorant of the fact that, you know, I don't believe that Telltale could not do any wrong. I'm not delusional in that way. It could very well not work out the way that they originally planned. I believe the CEO of, I wasn't sure if it's Lionsgate, one of the higher up either in Lionsgate or Telltale, wanted to make this Super Show the quality to be as good as it can be, such that it could win both a Golden Globe award and a Best Video Game of the Year award. And that's very ambitious, ridiculously ambitious, to be able to aim for that. Even if they don't actually get it, even if it doesn't actually happen, I think it's great. It's something great to shoot for. So, like I said, even if it ends up being a total flop, I think that pushing the envelope and trying out something totally new is important. I think that there's still going to be value in attempting it, because I really think that we need to, that's the only way that the entertainment industry is going to evolve. You know, we went from radios and radio shows to black and white television to, you know, black and white movies to, you know, color television and colored movies and CGI and all these special effects, and, you know, and then of course you start doing TV shows based on theater, on musicals, TV shows based on books, video games based on movies, video games based on books, and it's just, you know, you're constantly trying to think out of the box and try to think what is the next level to entertainment, to the entertainment industry. And I think that things like this is a very important step, even if it doesn't end up being as successful as they may have wanted it to be. Because maybe maybe the reason why it's not success, it depends on what the reason for the success is. Maybe it's because, you know, the technology wasn't there. Maybe it's because the writing wasn't there, which for Telltale I would be very surprised if that was the case. Maybe it's just simply the audience is not ready for it. Maybe it's the audience just thinks it's just too strange or odd of a concept that it's like, I'm not really sure what to think about this. So it, you know, it might not grasp them as well, and they're just not ready for it. But maybe in another generation later, they'd be totally for it, and they would totally buy into it. So I really believe, I honestly believe that doing this, experimenting this with, because it is a big experiment, is a good thing. And I am just really interested in seeing how well they are able to pull it off. And it'd be really interesting for me to LP it, because I would basically be LPing a game slash reacting to a TV show. And, you know, I just think that that would just be really fascinating. It would be really cool for me to, like, I don't know, live stream that. Live stream, not only playing the game, but live stream watching the show. Although, then we get into, I mean, here's another aspect of it that I'm curious about. Then we get into, you know, copyright, like Let's Play copyrights, because I feel like gamers, Let's Players, have a little bit more leeway as far as displaying video game content on their YouTube channel, on their videos. Whereas if somebody was, you know, just posting a television series, like an episode of a TV show, especially a TV show that's ongoing, that's not, you know, a TV show that's a recent show, and, you know, they just post it on YouTube and are reacting to it, I feel like those types of videos, those reaction videos, are, I feel like it's less lenient. It's less lenient on them compared to video games. So I'm curious how the logistics of that would work. I don't know. There's just thoughts about that. And then if I do decide to Let's Play it or react to it, would I decide to play the video game first or watch the show first? I don't know. Or would I mix it up each time? Like, maybe I should just, like, roll a die or flip a coin before each one, just to determine, and, or I don't know, majority votes or whatever. I don't know. Just something to think about, and something that I'm genuinely excited for when the show finally gets or the Super Show finally gets released. So put down in the comments your thoughts about this. Like, are you intrigued by this? Do you believe that it's a good idea? How optimistic slash pessimistic are you as far as whether or not this is going to work? If you do decide to experience it, I don't want to say play it or watch it, because it's more of an it's both. You're experiencing it. Would you decide to play the game first and then watch the episode, or vice versa, and why? I don't know. There's just a lot to think about, and I personally think it's very exciting stuff. And bravo to Telltale for at least attempting this, at least taking the risk, because it's a big risk. And I know that there's a lot of people who are very skeptical about it, and that's understandable. But I think they should do it anyway. I think that, and if anyone is going to attempt something like this, something as, in my opinion, as groundbreaking as this, it makes sense with Telltale. It makes sense with a company like Telltale, given the content that they have done before. Because at the end of the day, Telltale Games, their strength lies in the storytelling. They may not necessarily have the best gameplay. You know what I'm saying? They might, I mean, QuickTime, people can argue over whether QuickTime is really, like, that good of a gameplay. But that's not where their strength is. Their strength lies in story, and in telling a story. I mean, that's kind of, you know, why they're named Telltale. And that is what a TV show is. A TV show is meant to show a story. There's a lot of people who play role-playing games, and they complain, for example, if it's a very cutscene-heavy game. Because people are like, this is not a game, this is a movie, or this is not a game, this is a TV show. Well, I'm hoping that something like this will help break down those barriers, in that, why can't it just be both? Why can't you appreciate it to be both? Because I think, in general, in the general public, compared to television shows, I feel like video games are a little bit more of a niche area. I think that across the board, across all ages, around the world, there are more television viewers than there are gamers. You know, there are more people who tend to follow a TV series, watch television overall in general, than spend, you know, many hours playing video games. And I really hope that something like this is a good step forward towards breaking breaking that separation a little bit, breaking that barriers, and giving, I guess, video games a little bit more respect and a little bit more widely appreciated or more widely accepted, if that makes sense, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So anyway, that's really all I had to talk about. Again, if you have any other thoughts and wanted to discuss something else, please put your comments down below. I'd love to hear them. And I guess that's all. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, love yourselves and love each other.